Today's market update is an important one, and I'm encouraging you to tune in, buyers and sellers, because we are actually seeing changes in the data. I'll analyze competitiveness, market pace, inventory, and affordability. How competitive was the city of Fond du Lac housing market in August? Well, how much over did houses sell for? For the ones that sold, 5 to 15K over was the most common amount over. Then, how many sold at or above? 63% of the houses that sold in August did. And this sounds like a great number, and it is. But last month, it was 80%. So that's a change to take note of. And this number lines up with earlier this year, about March, that 63%. And we could think, oh, this might be a seasonal cooling. But I think it's more than that. And why do I think it's more than that? Well, this number around that 63%, if we go back to 2023, this happened in about November. And if we go back to 2022, this happened in about December. So if we're seeing it already surface in August data versus November and December from the past 2 years, I think we are seeing something more than just seasonality, and it's something to watch. Then, what is the most active price point? Well, for August, for the amount that sold at or above, the 300s actually performed the best, with 80% selling at or above. Next, with 100s, with 75% selling at or above. And then the 200s were pretty close to half, 54% selling at or above. How fast was our market pace for August? How quickly did properties accept offers? Well, 1 week was still the most dominant category, but that is 56%. And then within 2 weeks was 72%. But this is still down from last month, where 80% accepted within 2 weeks. So you can see a downward trend there. So it's about half of properties are still moving extremely fast within that week mark, and half of them are not, but around 3/4 are within 2 weeks. Then, how many houses are taking price reductions? About 21% of those that sold in August did. Now, this is close to April's stats, but a year ago, if we look at that number and we pull August of last year, that was 9%. So we can definitely see that we are up with more price reductions than a year ago. Finally, median days on market stayed pretty steady and is holding in the upper 30s. What's the inventory situation? How many houses are out there for sale? What's going on? Well, when we look at how many houses sold in August, that's 43. That's pretty in line with what's been going on this summer, and pretty in line with the data that we've been seeing of how it is more than last year. So last year's August was 33 sold, where this year it's 43 sold, but it's not as many as 2022 when 51 sold. So still lines up and following that norm there. But the next two questions is where we start to see a trend, a change, and something to watch and talk about. So how many total houses are on the market now? That's 107 houses. Last year, this number was 79, and we have the most inventory that we have had in 2 years. What's also important to note is that we have inventory across all price points. It's not just in the low end or the high end. We have inventory in all of the price points. How many are under contract, accepted offer versus available, no offer? This is one of the big changes too. So what we see when we look at the data is 50%. 50% are under contract, 50% are available. And that actually feels like a balance, which we really haven't seen. We saw this once in December of 2023, and then we also saw it in October through December of 2022. And again, you could think, oh, this is seasonal, but it has to be more than seasonal if it's August versus December or October through December. So again, I think there is more to it than just seasonality, because it is occurring sooner than those seasonal trends in the past. And I believe there's more to it. I also want to take note that of the 54 houses that are on the market completely available, 76% of them have been sitting for 2 or more weeks, and this is across all price points. 76%. So that means only about a quarter of the active inventory hitting the market is fresh and new, and 3/4 of it is actually sitting or has been for 2 or more weeks. So it's also important to know that the hotness of the market isn't gone, it's just more pocketed. Affordability. What can your money buy for you? Well, what is the median home price for August? It's $210K. And how is it trending? It's holding pretty steady here in the low 200s. So what does the 210 price point get you in the city of Fond du Lac right now? Well, here's our example for August. In August, 367 14th Street sold for $210K, and this property was a flip. Those cosmetic updates of cabinets, countertops, flooring, and you can see that here in the photos. It does look nice, but it is a 1935 build and is 1,600 square feet about. It's a 1.5 story, a 4-bed, 1-bath, 1-car garage on a pretty standard city lot of 0.14 acres. Now, if we pull out the mortgage calculator, we get a little bit excited because rates have continued to go down. And when I calc this month, I am using 6%. Last month I used 6.5%, and this month I'm using 6%. So woohoo, celebrate there. So this I normally just run as a first-time home buyer, 5% down. So at 210, that is a $10,500 down payment for 5%, a mortgage of $199,500 at 6% interest rate on a standard 30-year loan. Your mortgage is about $1,196.10 a month. It's important to note that this is just principal and interest. So again, we have taxes, we have insurance, we have PMI on top of it. And if you do choose to put more down, then your payment will be lower. Then I like to pull the high and the low ends so you can see what we're sandwiching between with the median. And this month we have some joys. So the low end is only $73K. This is at 120 East 2nd Street. You can see this kitchen looks like it needs to be trashed out. So it is a 6-bed, 2-bath, which is a single family home but used to be a duplex. And that is built in 1880. It's almost 2,500 square feet. It's a 2-story big property, but it needs a trash out. There was some form of fire here. There's damage. So there's just a lot going on, and it's going to be a project for somebody, and has a 1-car garage on a standard city lot of 0.17, sold for $73K. Now, on the other hand, you see this beautiful kitchen, which is top of the line. This is our high end of 1119 Spring Lake Drive in the city of Fond du Lac. This is behind Festival on that little lake back there, and it sold for $755K. It was a 2004 build, but you can see like the kitchen has been updated as well as some flooring and some other things throughout the home. It's a 4-bed, 3.5-bath, 3-car garage. It's almost 2,800 square feet above grade, and that's a ranch. It's not even a 2-story, 2,800 as a ranch. And then below grade, so in the basement, they have around another 1,200 finished. It's also on 1.21 acres, so a very large lot for still technically being the city. And it is a beautiful, beautiful home. All right, let's get you a summary. How competitive was August? Well, 63% of homes that sold at or above list price. And this is a great number, but it's down from 80% last month, so less competitive. Also, only one house sold for a crazy number of $26K over asking. Most of them that sold over were $5 to $15K over ask. The pace of the market. How quickly were houses selling? Well, just over half of them sold within a week, and around 72% of them accepted an offer within 2 weeks. This is down from last month, where about 80% accepted offers within 2 weeks. So again, that edge is coming off a little bit, a little less competitive, a little less fast. What about the inventory? This, I think, is the biggest change to talk about and to pay attention to. So again, we have the most inventory that we have had in 2 years. There's also a 50-50 split for what is available with no offer and what is under contract. And it creates more of a level of balance. And this is just happening too soon in the year to say that it's because of seasonality, because it's normally happening more October, November, December, not necessarily August. So it's why I think there's more going on than just seasonality. And again, just a sign of heading more towards balance, which could be good. And finally, affordability. 6% for interest rates around there, give or take, depending on your specific situation. But overall, that's the average we're seeing for rates. And that's really exciting to be seeing them come down. I mean, our high had been 8-ish, so it's good to see us here at 6. So I hope this was helpful for you today. Just one more note to sellers and buyers. So sellers, if you want to be that hot property that's still going within a week, 2 weeks, I just preach to prep your home for sale and to price it right. That is what works time and time again. Those are 2 things that you can control. So make sure you do those things. And then buyers, this is some great positives for you. Rates are coming down. There are more options to choose from, and not every situation is competitive.